Hanging baskets are so desirable in the summer. They're so beautiful, aren't they? Watering them is not quite as desirable though. Today I'm going to show you how to run some simple irrigation so you don't have to take your time watering your baskets. You can just let the faucet do it. Right over here is the table of the raw materials. Let's take a look at that. First of all, you can buy these kits at an independent garden center or one of the stores that carries this type of thing. It wasn't very expensive for what you get out of it. A nice deal right there. Also, I have a drill here for that composite type material on your house. If you have wood, you don't need it, but a small drill like this is going to be beneficial for a wall that is composite. Also, instead of having a toolbox that looks like this right here, and most of us have one and that's the way it looks, this is all irrigation system. Well, another way you can do that is you can just have a nice little system like this, and it's all organized right here. You can see all the parts that I need are right there, and here they are right here. I'm only going to need 3 different things. I'm going to need these little plugs right here, and you can see it's just a little plug, but it's in that box. You've got these that hold the piping right onto the side of the house, and those little nails right there, that's what we need that small drill for. And then we need T's like this, and that's going to connect our piping, and it's going to allow us to get right down to that hanging basket. Right over here is the distribution hose. This gets you from point A to point B. Very simple thing. You can buy that in 100-foot sections. And then my secret ingredient is 1/4-inch soaker hose, and that's going to go right in that basket, and it's going to evenly distribute the water so that you can have great watering system. Okay, there's the raw ingredients. Now let's get to work on the project. We got the system right over here. Now, one of the tricks that I want to teach you is if you just get a sharp knife like this, you could use a razor blade knife and cut the top of this right like this. It really pops open. It's quite easy. Have you ever had one of these and you busted something trying to get it out? I hate that. Well, here it is right here, all pulled out. And all I'm going to do is attach my manifold, and it's a 4-post manifold. I really like that it gives me the option to have 4 spigots right here. And then I put my little solenoid valve and I attach that just like that. And that right there is just about all I have to do. Later I'm going to mount the timer and we'll get all that done. But I want to show you how to get from here to that basket over there, and that's the next step. Now, the first step is to get from this hose connection to this funny pipe. And so we have to do a little bit of jimmy rigging is what I call it. And I bought this at the hardware store, and I'm just going to connect this. And we call this plastic pipe right here funny pipe. And it's funny because it goes every place, and it does a real good job. I don't know, maybe we should call it something like constructive pipe or something like that. But that's all you have to do. And I always like to tighten just a little clamp right down on that just to make sure that I don't have any leaks. Now, I don't need this long of a piece, so I'm just going to take my Felco pruners and cut it off just like that. And then I've got this trick little thing that allows you to kink the hose, and the kink actually stops the water from flowing out the bottom, and that's all you have to do there. Now that we have the funny pipe here, we're going to connect right into that, and then we're going to string that 1/4-inch distribution pipe all the way over to that hanging basket. And here's how you do that. You'll get a little tool just like this, and what it does is it actually places a hole, if you do that, right in that pipe. And you think, wow, you don't want to do that? Well, it's exactly what you want to do. And then we're going to add this T, and it just snaps in place, and you can hear it snap just like that. Now that we've got this, we're going to just cap off one end of this, and I like to leave another way to run hose if I need to. So you could use an elbow here, but I choose to use this, and that way I can cap it off, and if I want to add some additional hose a little bit later, I've always got the T, it's already there, and I don't have to redo it at that point and cap this off. So it's already there, ready to go, and now all I have to do is plug this in right over here and run my pipe right off of that, and that's what we're going to do right now. All we have to do now is hook it up to the distribution pipe, so it's just a matter of screwing this into the hose connector, which is pretty easy to do most of the time. And then we hook it up right here to this other end of the T. And you can just barely see that, but it just goes right on there. And now all we have to do is follow this along and run that pipe. Now, if you have a situation like this where you have a hose bib that shoots your system out straight, you might want to get another Y and pull it closer into the house, because this becomes a little bit vulnerable. If you bump it, you might break it, and you don't want to do that. So just get something at the hardware store. It's going to allow you to have it closer to the wall, and that's going to work just fine. Now let's go to the other side of this gutter, and we're going to see how we put that together. The 1/4-inch hose gets the water from the faucet to the beautiful hanging basket, and right after the break, we're going to show you just how to run. Welcome back. We're ready to run the hose now to the basket. The system gives you these little attachments that allow you to just drop that over the hose and hammer that small nail right into the side of the home. It's very simple to do. However, if you have a composite style siding, it's not going to nail in very well, and that's where the drill with a very small drill bit comes in. I like to pre-drill those holes so that you can do that without cracking. Well, it might even crack your hammer, who knows? You know those little hammers that you leave in your kitchen drawer? Well, here's one of them, and this is a perfect use for them. You don't want a big sledgehammer working in these tight spots, but you can see I've got that pre-drilled hole, and I'm just going to do that, hammer that in there with my nice tiny little hammer, and that allows you then to just pull that tight in. We're going to go ahead and do that all the way up. A nice thing about running it up against this gutter right here is you can actually hide the vast majority of that just right under the gutter, and you don't even need a lot of these because you've got the gutter itself to hold that in. So we're going to run it up there, and we're going to show you when we get up there what's the next step. Now with this gutter that hangs down over these joists right here, you can see we're going to hide this from the view from the front. Now from the back side, of course, you're going to see this, but who's going to care about that? It's really not that big of a deal. And you can see we've just strung that along there, and each joist gets one of those little attachments, and we're going to go right over here to the brick column, and that's where we're going to bring it down to feed the basket. We've got this hose all hung. The last thing I want to do before I drop down is I want to add this T right here. That allows me to leave just a little bit on the end with a cap on it in case I want to hang something down there. But the T also allows me to just add my next piece of hose, and that drops it down and gets it ready to make my next step, and that's going to be the final step to get these things watered. The moment of truth. We've brought the hose down. We're ready to make the final connections. Let's see if it worked. If my lovely assistant could please turn the water on. If you saw my lovely assistant, you might not think he's so lovely. And there it is. Perfect, and that's exactly what we want to see at this point. All right, we could turn that off now, please. Thank you very much. Such a great assistant. Now, here we go. The final attachment is a T right on the end of that. And my secret ingredient is 1/4-inch soaker hose. And this actually gets threaded, and you can do this step before you hook it up right here. I just like to make sure my water's running well. And you can thread this right around your basket and just make sure that's done, and you can make your final connections after that. There's that connection, and there's that connection. You just see that just slips right down in your hanging basket, and it sits about at this position. And when you turn that on, like we're going to do right now, you should see it begin to seep right here. And let's just see if that's working. And there it is perfectly. And you see how nice and evenly that is going to water your basket. A simple way that you can do this. And you can see right over here, we've got this whole system set up. There's the soaker hose right inside of there. You can see that. And now you just run that timer, and you can set it up to water every day and just till it leaks out the bottom and shut it down, probably 7 to 10 minutes. And that's going to be a simple way that anybody can put a system like this together.